Welcome to TikToks.
This is where we try to navigate life by styling our minds one candid conversation at a time. I'm Jilly.
My name's Dave. You can now listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts from. May manok na tumilaok.
Thanks for listening. Hey guys, today we are going to do some reflecting for this episode. So, ang mga i-discuss natin is all about the fundamental nature and essence of introspection and why is it so important to self-reflect and how can we use it to make our lives better. We probably look in the mirror so many times already that I know na sobrang familiar natin with our appearances, but how often do we look inward to become more familiar with our inner self nga daw, yung sinasabi nila. Let's start with siguro looking back 3 to 5 years ago, Dave. Where were you back then and what kind of a person are you? Well, ang intense ng what kind of a person.
Alam mo, parang
Buti ka wala.
kailangan ko ng Wikipedia. Joke lang. Okay, so yeah, before I answer the questions, we need your participation, guys, to all those people who are listening and watching. Kasi we want the succeeding episodes to become more interactive. Diba? Kasi nakakuha kami ng constructive criticism from a friend. Sabi, i-involve nyo naman yung audience nyo sa podcast. So, that's why. Shout out nga pala dun kay Guy na nagsabi nun. Thank you for your feedback.
Hello,
So,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So, later on, may mga questions kami and whatever. So, you'd appreciate if you can comment us down or PM nyo kami mamaya. So, syempre mamaya na yon para tapusin nyo yung episode namin. Okay, so what was your question again? Where was I?
3 to 5 years ago, what kind of a person are you?
Okay.
Kasi parang
Mm-mm.
this is our way of reflecting
Looking back,
kung ano yung mga
where
nagbago sa atin.
Okay, so where was I 5 years ago? I was 20. I'm 21 right now, so that I'm 16. 5 years ago, 15. So I was in first year college. So siguro, ayun, I'm trying to navigate the college life when I was 15 or 16. During that time, I am so sure of what do I really want in my life. So parang, nung time na yon, I'm so in love with na parang, okay, I want to be a storyteller, I wanted to do films, etc., etc. And then, I'm very idealistic way back then when I was in college. Parang, I believe I'm not the only one eh. All those parang teenagers na parang hala mo, they can change the world. Mga ganong insights natin. So, I'm very idealistic. I'm very emotional. I'm very sensitive. Parang I overthink a lot. I'm not saying that I'm not like that anymore, but before ay ang lala. Sobrang grabe. And then yun, siguro hindi ko naman sinasabing irrational ako noon, but before more of emotions ako when it comes to decision making. I constantly seek for validation from the people around me. So yun yung mga negative. Yun, idealistic, needs constant validation. I know what I want. Na parang feeling mo mahal na mahal ko yung mascom and pagpepelikula. Yun, that's what kind of person. Passionate learner pa din naman. Parang lahat gusto mong alamin. Ganun ka ng bata kay pagtato. Basta ako. Ngayon, nasan na? Joke lang. Ayun, yun lang naman. Ikaw ba?
Ano ba? Ang tagal kasi 5 years ago. Sobrang dedicated, totoo, yung sinabi mo na sobrang dedicated natin sa college. Now we do our CG hours. Tayo, practicum. And then, when it comes to personal being, siguro dati, I was the type of person who would go for it. Tapos yung mindset ko, so what? Wala akong pake sa isipin ng mga tao. Tapos, although tama ka na when we were younger, we were more passionate about what we want and we were more certain kung ano yung gusto nating i-pursue in life. Pero, as discussed nga sa previous episode natin,
Good luck
we don't,
girl.
oo. The things that we plan don't really, not really work out, pero hindi yun yung nag-turn out. Kasi maraming surprises ang buhay. So, before then, ako yung type of person na I don't think before I speak. And regardless kung may masasaktan akong feelings, ang mindset ko nun is, this is who I am. I'm gonna express what I want to express. My feelings, regardless kung I would inflict pain to other, ganun. Which is, hindi ko naman masasabi ngayon na super change na. I'm still work in progress. Pero,
May
so
progress
far,
na.
nakikita naman yung improvement. Mm-mm.
Okay. I would want to highlight what you've said. Na parang, when we were younger, parang we have this vision in ourselves. Na parang, may ine-expect ka whom you will become, 'di ba? At saan ka
Mm-mm.
mapupunta way back then. But like what you've said, along the journey, it's not gonna happen. Kumbaga, it's not exactly the footprint of what we've thought about ourselves. Kasi maaaring we'll get there doon sa gusto nating mangyari. Pero ang dami mong, kumbaga sa daan, ang dami mong side trip bago ka napunta doon sa path na yun. Like what you've said earlier, yun nga, sabi mo parang you'll say what you want to say, and then ako naman, I'm very idealistic. And I think that is the common thing for parang teenagers. Like us, we are in our early 20s, and then when we were teenagers, innocent pa tayo with how harsh the real world is. Kaya parang akala natin we already know everything just because we've studied the fundamentals in college. But we haven't applied really yet what we have learned. So parang ang daling sabihin na, ay ganito, ganito, this is what this is how my life will turn out. Ito yung gagawin ko, etc. Kasi parang yun nga, may vision ka. So, for that one, I would want to ask ourselves right now, how do we visualize ourselves, not only in terms of career, but as a person? Ano yung nai-imagine natin na gagawin natin ngayon? And yung naisip natin way back then, are we like that? Naging better ba tayo? Or if na-achieve natin yung 5 years ago, um, paano natin masasabing nakuha talaga natin siya? And if in any case na andun talaga tayo sa kung ano yung ginusto natin, yung ways ba natin, how did we achieve that? Is it exactly the same kung paano natin siya naisip way back then?
Siguro in terms of career, super different. I didn't envision myself to be a copywriter in an advertising agency. I would be more like pursuing broadcasting or nasa newsroom ako. Napipicture ko yung sarili kong nasa newsroom, writing news articles, ganyan. But it's okay because life led me to doing what I love. So in terms of career, super okay. But in terms of personal achievement, like yung being mo and your actions, well, when it comes to yung nasabi ko kanina, that I'm more of a blunt person na I express whatever I want to express, not being mindful of other people's feelings. Ngayon, I know na nag-improve ako on that part. Apparently, before kasi, mas mababa yung level of insecurities ko. Yun yata yung that's one thing that didn't change for the better for me. Kasi parang mas mataas yung level of insecurities ko compared before. Which is, work in progress naman tayo lahat. So, we're dealing with that and working on not thinking what other people think about us. Yung mga ganong baby steps. And then, I've also learned when is the right time to speak up or to shut up about it. Kasi I've learned to live by the words na if you're not gonna say something relevant or important, might as well don't contribute or don't speak up about it. Kasi I think that's a very important thing, that we have to be impeccable with our words. And then one thing pala na I want to share is, ever since high school ata, I've been getting a lot of comments na yung facial expression ko looks super mataray na parang feeling ng teacher ko sinatarayan ko sila or nagagalit ako, when in fact I was just listening intently. So I became more mindful din doon
Mm.
Although, hindi ko masasabi na wala na yung mga ganong comments kasi resting face tayo eh. So,
Same.
so that's one thing that I'm still trying to improve kasi feeling ko, being transparent is not a negative thing, pero sometimes it can be helpful if you're the type of person who want to spread good vibes, 'di ba? Sobrang ano yun, hindi nagtutugma. So, I think mastering facial expression
Is
is one of the things that I want to
Yeah.
improve with myself. Ayun, ikaw
Yun
ba?
naman. Actually, yun nga, parang habang nakikinig ako sa'yo, you said na sa career-wise, you took a different path, which is actually the same. Good thing to you kasi parang you're kind of certain with what you're doing right now. But for me, personally, sobrang iba. Parang when I was in college, I wanted to be a storyteller, wanted to do films, etc., etc. Parang I wanted to be a filmmaker, wanted to be an artist. But like what I've said in our previous episode, sometimes we just love the idea of doing it. Parang gusto mo yung outcome nung path na yon, pero iba pala yung way mo how to achieve it. Like right now, we're doing a podcast. I've never imagined myself way back then that we will be doing this podcast. Kasi nakafocus ako sa kailangan film theater. Kasi siguro yun yung ginagawa ng mga kasama ko. Kaya parang dapat ganun din ako. So, I have learned how to use a different platform and channel, which has the same goal naman, which is to tell stories to inspire people. But now, iba yung platform na ginagamit natin, mas convenient and mas madaling mag-edit. Tumakas lang talaga ako sa technical stuff. Yeah, that's one for the career. And then for the career right now, honestly speaking, I'm not in the career na gusto ko. Yeah, I work in a customer service, but that's okay. Siguro I do this for a living, of course, and especially now it's pandemic. It's very hard for us na maging mapili, maging choosy. So yeah, for in terms of personality. Okay, so now pag-usapan natin ano yung naging better sa kung sino tayo before. So yeah, nung way back then, 'di ba nabanggit ko nga na I am super emotional and I need constant validation. Parang pag hindi ako, kunwari may lakad yung barkada, tapos hindi ako naisama, magsasama yung loob ko. Yung mga ganon, parang lagi kong iniisip, hindi naman lang ako involved, ganon. Tapos parang when I do something, and then
Yes.
you didn't recognize my effort or you didn't acknowledge my effort, sasama yung loob ko. Parang hindi nyo ba ako napapansin? Mga ganon. I'm very immature way back then, which is kind of normal. So yeah, that's one thing that I have learned growing up, which is, I think this is one of the parang paradigm shift. Wow, paradigm shift ang taray ng pagtanda ako. Naging ito yung masasabi kong nagbago ng matindi. So, I'm not saying that I'm not seeking for constant validation right now. Pero nag-lessen yon. Kasi I came into this realization that not everyone will like you. You're not everyone's cup of tea. And we have to accept that. You can be at your best. You can do everything and anything that you can. You can try hard, but not all people will like you. And that is okay. And like what I've said, I've read this post from Facebook and I did tag you there, diba? Parang the writer there said na if you're selling a product, if you're venturing parang a career na may creative pursuits ka and you posted it online and then no one's liking it, hindi ganun kalaki yung audience mo, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with what you're doing. Maybe you're just in the wrong audience. And hindi mo pa nahahanap yung right people who will appreciate and who will listen to you. And maybe yung platform mo hindi ka nandun sa tamang platform. So, parang yun nga yung sa film na ni-review natin last week, di ba? Yung Through Night and Day. Parang sa sine, walang nanood sa kanila. And then, we've never expected that after 2 years, mag-hit yung film nila just because they use a different platform, which is Netflix. So, yun. Yun yung parang sabi kong naging better sa akin. Hindi na ako nag-please and naghahanap ng constant validation. Siguro hinahanap ko yun sa mga kaibigan ko na lang or sa mga mahal ko sa buhay. Pero hindi ko na siya masyadong dinidibdib. Kasi parang at the end of the day, I'll do whatever that will make me happy. And yung purposeful ako, wala naman akong ini-impress na tao eh. And another thing that I would
Yeah.
want to add is looking at the brighter side, you just need to imagine how your life will turn out if in any case that all these people around you are showering you with positive compliments. Imagine all of them are trying to appease you. Mabibaby ka. You will not grow as a person. So, I looked at it in a different way. Na parang, okay, there are people who don't like me, there are people who will criticize me, and that's okay. And I need to be thankful to those person. Kasi, like what we've said before, di ba? Kailangan nating masaktan para tayo matuto. And we need people who will burst our bubble. Diba? We need people na hindi lang puro compliment yung ginagawa sa atin. Kasi we're not perfect human beings. And I think it's God's way of humbling ourselves to keep us rooted, to keep us grounded. And way niya yon to constantly remind us that we are not perfect. We have our own limitations. And parang hindi mo isipin na sobrang galing mo na. So, yun na lang yung positive side na tinitignan ko. So, that's what changed for the better. Ikaw, what changed for the better? Kasi sabi mo nung una may naging worse ka, di ba? Naging parang insecure ka. Which is, I think, the reason why you're like that. Maybe you are surrounded with people who are competitive, who are expecting a lot from you. Kaya parang you have this mindset na, okay, I need to strive more. I need to be like this, blah, 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 blah. Because you think na may mga matang nag-o-observe sa'yo, which is okay.
So I wanted to mention na regardless if, for example, you exerted effort on something and then hindi ka na-commend or hindi na-recognize the effort that you poured to it, sana yung mga ganong instances, it wouldn't stop you from doing things with your best. Kasi that's one of the things also that I have learned or the words that I want to live by na if I'm gonna do something, might as well do it with all my best efforts. 'Di ba? Regardless if yung mga nauna kong ginawa is hindi na-recognize kahit na sobrang effort ko tas wala man lang nakapansin, that will not stop me from doing something with still my best effort. Kasi you will never know kung kailan yung magiging break mo, kung kailan magkakaroon ng chance for you to be recognized. So, yeah. So, and then what changed for the better naman is I became more reflective in my actions, in my words, na mas nagiging mindful ka on the things that you're doing. If I also wanted to live by kasi with the words na always in everything that you do, always be kind. Regardless if driven ka na with your emotions na sobrang nabubwisit ka na. You can't just go around expressing yourself with all the siguro profanities or hurtful words that come to your mind. Hindi lahat ng bagay na naiisip mo kailangan nilalabas mo. Also, eto, isa pa, that changed for the better. Before kasi, gusto natin, it's a good feeling that we're being listened to. And gusto natin na ito, try to self-reflect din sa mga listeners na are you the type of person na when someone is talking to you and sharing some story, ikaw ba yung type of person na ang way of thinking mo is iniisip mo na kung ano yung ikukwento mo after, or are you the type of person who are really listening to what he or she is saying? Kasi if you're the type of person na okay, habang nagkukwento siya, iniisip mo yung personal experiences mo na gusto mong ikwento sa kanya without really intently listening to what he's saying. So, yeah, I think we have to practice the art of really listening and comprehending
Definitely.
what other people are saying. Kasi also another mindset that I want to live by is you have to listen because you don't know if you're gonna get something out of it. You can always learn something from the people around you. So listening intently is
Yeah.
one of the things that I've been practicing. Kasi before hindi ako ganun eh. Na parang feeling ko ako lang may may mas relevant or mas meaningful na i-share. So dapat
Same.
sa akin lang kayo makikinig.
Uy,
Ganun.
same.
Di
Siguro,
ba?
hindi, alam mo, gusto ko mag-comment kasi sinabi mo. I think that stems to a bigger perspective na dapat we have to listen because we really want to know what's happening. And I know this is discussed. We don't listen just to respond. Kasi siguro yun yung hina-highlight mo before. And alam mo, medyo tinamaan ako kasi I think that's one of the struggles of those kids na, I'm not saying that we're super like magaling, but to those kids na go-getter, yung sabihin nating mga honor students or like you, parang you're an honor student, and then yung parang lagi tayong pinupuri nung bata tayo na ang galing mo, ang talino mo. Parang you think na, I can change the world. I am better than you when it comes to explaining things and telling our opinions. Kasi parang ganun eh. Parang like what you've said, you think that, oh, I'm the one who's gonna share more relevant things. Kaya parang yung taong nag-explain, oh, I'm not gonna listen that much to what you're saying. Kasi at the end of the day, what will I say? Yun lang naman yung tatatak dito. 'Di ba? Aminin natin, I know this is kind of parang nakaka-off naman ng dalawa, masyadong self-entitled, but that's the reality. And I am so proud na we were able to somehow share to them yung negative na ugali natin at binabago natin ngayon. Kumbaga, hindi naman kami nag-sugarcoat dito na ganito kami, ganyan. But we're trying to parang share din na ganito kami dati. And hindi yun okay. So, yeah. I
Also,
hope, yeah, wait lang. O, go. Saglit. So, yun. Parang, di ba, feeling natin, parang tayo yung may relevant na sasabihin. But, alam mo, there's one thing that I have learned from a friend na nag-OJT ako sa NCT. Parang, she told me, I know this is very simple, pero nag-resonate siya sa soul ko. Sabi niya, alam mo, Dave, kahit yung tao na akala mong walang pakinabang, kunyari, ano siya, ganyan siya.
grabe sa walang pakinabang.
Hindi, sinabi niya sa akin yun. Sabi niya, parang, alam mo yung tao na yan, for example, sa isang group, wala siyang ginagawa, wala siyang natutulong, meron pa rin siyang silbi. Maaaring ngayon hindi mo makita, pero meron in the future. So, oo nga, no? So, kahit sabihin natin, hindi siya nakapag-aral, or feeling mo mas matalino ka sa kanya, mas magaling ka, you will learn something from that person. And, minsan yung maliliit na bagay na yon, kasi alam mo tayo, napansin ko ha, that's something that we have realized. Yung mga taong passionate learner, parang we're more focused dun sa mas komplikadong bagay eh. We tend to overanalyze everything, that sometimes we tend to neglect those simple things or yung mga basic things na yung fundamentals ng buhay. Dun tayo medyo mahina. So, that's one. Natuwa ako kasi I somehow lived a balanced life after hearing that. Oo nga, no. I should listen more. I know I'm madaldal, but I'm really, really proud of myself that I was able to listen without interrupting na parang, oo nga, no. Parang, marunong ka dapat talagang makinig episode. And, yeah, so we're done telling you guys what changed for the better. Sa career talaga, tsaka sa money, wala pa. Aminin namin, mahirap pa din kami ngayon. Hindi pa kami nakabili ng mga, hindi pa kami manager, hindi pa kami, nag-masters or doctoral. And wala pa kaming mapagmamalaki talaga. Yun ang
May naalala ko.
Yeah.
Di ba, uso nung high school, elementary, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Yeah.
8 years from now. Tapos, nakakatawa kasi syempre yung mga sinusulat natin doon.
Ang doctor, I wanted to be.
Working in a job that I want. I have my own family. I have my own house. Tapos ngayon, ano nangyari?
Hindi, pero alam mo, looking at the brighter
Pero okay
side.
lang.
Wait lang, looking at the brighter side, I realized this after watching the Kissing Booth 2. To those people who haven't watched it like you, sorry, medyo spoiler. But the latter part there, parang the bida is asking, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And then parang the interviewer there said na parang don't focus kung ano yung gusto naming marinig na sagot. Focus on what you really want to be. Who is the person na gusto mong maging 5 years from now. And that's, parang tinamaan ako doon. Sabi ko, shucks, oo nga, no? Bakit pa pag sinabing, who do you want to be 5 years from now? Career yung naiisip natin. Bakit hindi, I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be a person who is genuinely happy. I wanted to be a person na parang ball of sunshine ako ng friends ko, ng family ko. I wanted to be the bigger person who can understand more. So, I think we have to normalize that, no? Yung ganong mindset na it doesn't necessarily mean na you have to be in this certain point of your career para ma-consider na successful ka because we have our own definitions of success. Yung yung kahit like ako in my case right now, I'm not doing good in terms of career, but I can say I am proud na I turned out to be a better person psychologically, mentally, the way I see things in life. Naging mas better friend ako, mas naging better daughter ako, mas naging better citizen ako. So, yung mga ganon, wag natin laging isipin na pag kailangan 5 years, eto na yung pera ko, eto na yung narating ko. No, the life, at I mean, dun sa mga batang nakikinig, bata talaga, yung mga teenager, parang, alam nyo, when you venture in the real world, parang sa inyo ang success yung may peace of mind ka, may enough sleep ka. Di ba, te? Yun yung, para sa akin, yun na ang success ngayon eh. Kasi aanuhin mo nga naman
Oo.
talaga ang pera. That's very legit. Okay, let us discuss na lang. What are the common misconceptions? Kasi di ba, ito a lot of people are still thinking
Ay,
that
wow.
you're the same
Intense.
person. You're still the same person 5 years ago. Nakaranas ka ba ng gano'n? Parang, for example, meron kang negative thing na nagawa when you're 15, and then you have never given a chance to meet that person from 15 years old ka up until now. And then when you guys met, they think that you're still the same person. How do you deal with that? Na parang, okay, I'm not that kind of person way back then, no? Ano ba? Ang dami nangyari in 7 years, hindi na ako ganyan. So, can you tell us more with that experience? Parang interview. Can you tell us more? Don't cut this. I love this. Char. Go.
Ang hirap. Wait, ikaw muna.
Ay! Paano
Ikaw
kayo
muna mag-share. Huwag
Ako
mo
muna.
ikat. Okay lang.
Okay.
Okay lang malaman nilang nahihirapan ako sa tanong
It's
mo.
okay. That's us being raw. Okay. I have this
Aray ko.
person. Baka naman kasi sobrang bait mo daw talaga, kaya wala kang misconception.
Wow
Char!
naman.
Okay.
Hindi
Wait lang. Naalala ko tuloy yung sinabi ni Kai. Sabi ni Kai, Ate Dave, pag nag-uusap kayo, parang nakikichismis lang kami. Hindi kami makart. Okay, Kai. Kai, okay ha. Mag-aano kami. Hindi, okay lang. I-involve natin dito yung mga audience na nakikinig. Kala mo ang dami. Char.
Oo nga.
Ilan lang naman yung viewers namin. Utang na loob nyo, panoorin nyo kami, no? Char.
Pa-subscribe naman po. Kahit
Oo,
konti.
subscribe. Okay. So yeah, common misconception. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people who know me right now, nakwento ko to sa inyo na parang when I was in high school or college, parang iniisip nila bida-bida ako just because madaldal ako, opinionated ako, and then iniisip nila nagtatampo ako ng mabilis pag hindi ako naisama or whatever, and then parang iniisip nila spoiled brat ako kasi nga isang anak ako. Okay. I'm not gonna mention her name, pero siguro mga few months ago, I had this friend na, we were still friends naman, pero we're not that super close like what we used to when we were in high school and college. So parang may instance doon na dapat may lakad kami and hindi ako na-inform. Tapos parang her reaction is parang tinago niya sa akin. Kasi may certain scenario na tinago niya sa akin, hindi niya sinabi na may ganitong plano. Tapos nalaman ko. And then she expected na magagalit ako. Kaya ako hindi sinabi sa'yo kasi alam ko nagtatampo ka sa mga ganyan. Tapos parang ako, sumama yung loob ko na parang ganun pa rin pala yung tingin mo sa akin until now. But then, I can't blame her kasi hindi naman niya ako nakasama all throughout this year. So parang, sabi ko, ayun ang challenges. Minsan may mga tingin sa'yo yung tao na hindi mo na mababago kasi yun yung napakita mo sa kanila before. But hindi mo naman masasabi sa kanila, hoy, hindi na ako ganyan ngayon, nagbago na ako. Alam mo, nagkaroon ako ng epiphany. Wow, epiphany talaga after that incident. Sabi ko parang, alam mo, we have to, anong tawag doon? Parang ipakita mo sa kanila yung changes mo through action. Kumbaga yung success mo, yung changes mo, yung naging better sa pagkatao mo. Hindi mo kailangan i-flaunt yun. Hey guys, I'm a changed person. I'm not this Dave anymore na isip bata, na self-absorbed and whatever. Hindi na ako ganyan. They can see that through your actions. They can see that the way you communicate with your peers. They can see that na parang the more you try hard na papansin ka, hindi, lalo na lang sasabihin, ano ba to, nag-feeling ka. Pero pag yung tahimik ka lang and then yung success mo or whatever changes in you, sila mismo yung nakapansin nun. Meaning you are already a changed person. So, yun yung na-realize ko. Parang hindi ko kailangan i-explain sa tao na nagbago na ako. Alam niyo, nagbago na ako, hindi na ako ganyan. I'm not the same person. Hayaan mong makita nila yun through your actions. So, that's one. And ano pa ba? Common misconception din kasi sa akin lagi dati yung parang masyado akong OA sa friends. Parang sabi ko, kailangan lagi tayong magkasama, kailangan ganyan. And then, I'm really glad that my cousin, si Ate Rosel, napansin niya, sabi niya, alam mo, Dave, buti ngayon hindi ka na ganyan. Na parang okay lang sa'yo kahit hindi friends forever kasi parang people come and go. Dati ganyan, kaya akala ko hindi ka na magbabago. So, nagulat lang ako kasi the moment na you stop asking for someone's acknowledgement, the moment that you stop seeking for constant validation, that's the time that they will appreciate you without you knowing that. O, yung ganda ng sinabi ko. Char! Gusto ko yung yung sarili ko. Quotable yun. Diba? Parang, the more na, like, eto again, even sa love life to, the more na nag-chase ka, the more na nagkikling ka into someone, the more they'll slip away. Yes, quote yan from Kissing Booth. Naisama.
That's talaga natin, hindi parang siya talaga yung yung mas may,
ayun
experience.
Lang. Char lang yun. O, ikaw, binigyan
na kita. Marami ka lang talagang pinapanood na
Oo.
Nakaka-relate.
Nakaka-relate. O, go. Ikaw naman, ayan na. Anhan mo na. Sabihan mo ko ng mga, misconception mo, paano mo nabago yun?
Halap, ang naiisip ko ngayon is, for the worse hindi siya for the better Okay lang ba? Okay, maybe I'm probably gonna go all out on this by sharing this one. Pero,
third person, si Kai nakikinig.
Oy, grabe ka.
I love you, Kai. Kai, makinig ka dito sa episode natin.
Okay. Before kasi, guys, hindi ko sinasabing nagyayabang ako kasi sobrang worst nito Before kasi, I'm the type of person who kind of parang more on leadership yung before, I am the type of person na I tend, whenever we have a group, whether be it extracurricular or academic or something, I am the type of person who leads kung ako man yung part ng group na yun. And sometimes, dahil nga, some of my friends or my colleagues or college friends have become accustomed to me being like that, na masyadong, hindi naman bossy, pero siguro they expect me to lead all the time. Pero akala nila, ngayon, ganun pa rin ako. Gets ba? Na parang whenever, for example, we have plans or magkakaroon ng mga events or lakad, they expect me to still be the
ikaw yung
one
mag-take over, ikaw yung
to
in charge.
take over, to be in charge. But as I mentioned before, yung insecurities ko nga are mas malala ngayon compared to back in high school or in college. That's why I'm not that same person anymore who tends to be more confident when it comes to leading people or to imposing my beliefs on others. Yun. Also, gusto ko rin i-point out sa mga shinare mo kanina na tama ka na you don't always have to explain yourself to other people. Na kung may nagbago man sa'yo and you realized it first thing bago pa ma-recognize ng iba. I mean, just by knowing in yourself that you've changed for the better, I think that's a good thing already. And you don't have to wait for other people's validation or for other people's recognition for you to be happy with what you have become.
Yeah.
So, also, tama na you don't have to explain yourself kasi your actions will reflect your improvement. Diba? And some people, when they notice that you've changed for the better, they don't always recognize it or they don't always come to you and mention na, uy, nagbago ka na.
Yeah. That's
kasi
fine.
minsan they just observe in silence and they just kind of commend you but
Without
in
people.
silence or through their actions lang. So, it's something that's better left unsaid.
Totoo.
So, sabi nga nila, Don't show them your progress. Show them your results.
Um,
I want to
yeah,
ito,
go.
pang last natin. Of course, the reason why we're talking about this is because we wanted to highlight why or how self-reflection can be so much helpful in improving ourselves in general. Kasi let's define it muna. Wow,
May
na-define.
ano ha,
So
may
when we
epistemological
say
meaning. Char. Just kidding.
So, ano nga ba yung introspection or self-reflection?
Mm.
Self-reflection is examining your own internal thoughts, yung
Mm.
feelings mo, and reflecting on what they mean, yung
Mm-mm.
actions mo. So, the process can be focused on either yung mental experience, it can either be from current events or your very recent or
Mm-mm.
way before pa na experiences or past. So, I know people often point out na dwelling on the past doesn't help anything. But if
Mm-mm.
you're the type of person who reflects and find meaning on everything that's happening to you, dwelling or not really dwelling, but looking back
Oo.
in the past can be very helpful, and analyzing the things that has
Yeah.
happened to you can be
Mm-mm.
very helpful, diba?
Yeah.
So
Siguro
yeah.
tweak ko lang yung sinabi mo na, okay, so it's not necessarily for us to dwell in the past. Siguro,
Yep.
we just have to have the review lang of what, parang looking back, ano ba ako dati? But it doesn't mean naman na nag-dwell. Kasi dwell, hindi ka na nag-move on. So maybe that's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say. And that's okay. And also, personal tip that I would want to share is, whenever that you would want to have this introspection or yung parang nag-analyze ka ng soul mo, ng mind mo, nag-meditate ka, you try to zoom out then. Kasi you highlighted parang zooming in eh. You try to zoom out, try to see things in other people's point of view or perspective. And then I realized kasi na parang the world is so big. 'Di ba? Na parang you're just a tiny particle dyan. Tiny particle. So try to, halimbawa, try to think na, kunyari ikaw yung kapatid mo. Si ate, paano ba siya naging ganito dati? Or ikaw yung nanay mo. Ako minsan ginagawa ko yun eh. Hindi lang yung ako sa sarili ko. Kasi the way I see myself might be different from how my friends see me or how my mom see me. So,
Yes.
tinatry ko talagang magkaroon ng photographic memory sa utak ko na parang papanoorin ko yung sarili ko magsalita. Oo nga no, ang OA ni Dave magsalita pa. Akala mo naman sinasapawan niya. Mga ganun. Niro-roast ko yung sarili ko. Ayun. So, yun, ganun lang. Try to see things in other people's perspective or point of view. And try to become more rational when it comes to decision making. Yeah! We have forgot pala na that's one of the parang change na naging better sa ating dalawa, di ba? Napag-usapan natin to before na parang we tend to become more rational when it comes to decision making and hindi na tayo emotional. Well, I'm not saying that we're so rational 100%, but we're still a work in progress. Balikan natin tong podcast na to 5 years from now. Tingnan natin kung na-apply
Kung ano yung mga pinag-aasabi natin. And also,
zoom out.
I just would like to share some of the questions that you can ask yourself when you're self-reflecting.
Mm-mm.
So, eto, siguro, onti lang naman. Pero there are a lot of self-reflection questions out there that you can search. But eto yung mga nasa list ko na I would like to share. So,
may
first
PowerPoint
is
ka dyan.
ask intense. Mag-share screen ako. Joke. Hindi.
Go!
First is, ask yourself the very basic thing na, am I taking anything for granted? And then second is, if this is the last day of your life, what would you have done differently? And, diba? Kasi pag nalaman natin na for sure, marami tayong gustong baguhin
parang
sa
essay
sarili
writing
natin.
question yan.
Yes. Kasi when it comes to end of the world or end of our lives, ang intense. Parang gusto natin baguhin lahat eh, di ba? Tapos mag-fulfill, mapupuno tayo ng regrets, ganyan. So, ask yourself that. And then, ask yourself also, although this is sometimes very difficult and hindi man natin mapo-point out lahat, but you can try asking yourself, what are the things that I need to change about myself? And lastly, to take a look at the positive things is, what do I love about life? and living.
Yeah. And maybe you can add there, what are the things that you're grateful for? Kasi, I would want to highlight then na sometimes, maybe God is not giving us what we want. Na parang we have this exact wish list. Ito po, ito po, ito po. But sometimes, life is full of surprises, like what you've said before. And maybe God is giving you blessings that you've never asked. We should be thankful for them sa mga ganun. Yung parang, di ko naman to hiningi pero nagulat ako dumating to sa buhay ko. Parang, ano ba yun? Joke lang. Wala naman. So yeah, those are the final sentiments that we can share. So yeah, guys, I hope you've listened until the end of this episode. Wow, tari pa ang outro natin. We have questions na I hope may mag-PM naman sa atin dito or may mag-comment.
Meron, mamimilit tayo ng
Yeah. I have a question.
Joke.
Parang, if you were given a time machine or if you can go back to the past, is there something that you want to change about yourself? Or what happened sa buhay mo? Gusto mong baguhin? Meron ba for the better? If meron, at bakit? You let us know. Babasahin namin yun next week. Ha? Yeah, you send us your DMs, you send us an email, you can talk to us in person, you can comment down whatever your experiences are. Babasahin namin yun next week. Yun lang. Bye-bye!
Thanks for listening until the end of this episode.
We do hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to follow or subscribe. Thanks for supporting.
Ha ha ha! Ta-na-na-na-na! Tick-tick-tock! Tick-tick-tick-tock!
Let's get scratching.